A $500 monthly leak in your 30s can slow you down. A $500 monthly leak after 50 is different. At that point, that money may be needed for something more important. It could be an emergency cushion, a smaller credit card balance, a repair fund, or the breathing room that keeps you from claiming Social Security before you really want to. Same $500, different decade, different consequences. And no, this is not about blaming coffee. If coffee were the whole retirement problem, retirement planning would be easy. The real issue is money going out every month that nobody has reapproved in a long time. A subscription here, an insurance increase there, a phone plan that slowly got fancy without asking permission, a delivery habit that started as a busy week fix and became a monthly tenant. None of that automatically means someone is careless. A lot of these leaks start as reasonable expenses. Life gets busy. Autopay does its little magic trick. Then one day, small payments are quietly draining the checking account every month. Here's the practical way to look at it. After 50, a recurring charge should not get a lifetime pass just because it slipped onto autopay. It needs to earn its place again. That is the trap. The trap is not simply spending too much. That is too broad. That kind of advice sounds helpful, but it does not give you much to work with. The real trap is letting old monthly charges keep voting on your retirement without asking whether they still deserve a seat at the table. After 50, the clock is part of the math. When retirement is 25 or 30 years away, a forgotten monthly charge can still hurt, but there is more time to recover, adjust, and course correct. After 50, the runway is shorter. That does not mean panic. Panic is expensive, and it rarely makes the math better. It means the next few decisions matter more. And that concern is not imaginary. The Federal Reserve found that only about 35% of people who are not retired said their retirement savings were on track. So if the math feels tighter than it used to, you have company. A large, slightly nervous company. So when I see a recurring $500 leak, I do not start with guilt. I start with one question. Would I choose this again today, knowing what retirement needs next? That question changes the whole conversation. $500 a month is $6,000 a year. Over 5 years, that is $30,000. In the next 10 years, that is $60,000. And that is before we count any investment growth, debt interest saved, or fancy spreadsheet gymnastics. That is not pocket lint. That is real money walking out the door wearing a name tag that says monthly charge. Now, that does not mean every $500 expense is bad. Some money is doing real work. It may protect your health, keep the house safe, help someone you love, or help you get through a hard season. That's okay. Money is supposed to support life. But some monthly charges are not doing a job anymore. They are just still billing. That is where I would start looking. The sneaky part is that the leak often hides in boring places. It may look like insurance creep. The policy made sense years ago, but the premium kept climbing while nobody reviewed the details. It may look like the phone, internet, or cable bill, a few upgrades, a few fees, one temporary promotion that quietly retired before you did. It may look like subscriptions stacked on subscriptions, streaming, apps, delivery services, forgotten trials, not one villain, a committee. It may look like a storage unit, a club membership, a service contract, or a convenience habit that used to solve a problem but now just sends invoices. That is why I do not like lazy advice that says, just stop wasting money. That may be true, but it is not exactly a plan. Sounds good, right? But really not much help. A better question is, which monthly charges would I approve again today? Not every charge needs to disappear, but every recurring charge deserves a fresh yes. That question matters because after 50, there is less time to make up for money that keeps leaking out. A $500 leak can be the difference between having a repair fund and hoping the water heater stays polite. It can also be the difference between knocking down a balance and carrying it another year. Or it can also be the difference between breathing room and feeling rushed into a money decision. That is what a leak can take away. It takes away options, and options matter more when retirement is getting closer. Now, this is where I want to be clear. The goal is not to cancel joy. The goal is to separate money you would choose again from money that is still charging you because nobody stopped it. Money you would choose again has a reason. Money on autopay has a login you forgot and a customer service line that keeps you on hold until your hair changes color. So if I were looking at this generally, I would use a simple cleanup process. Reapprove it, reprice it, reassign it. First, reapprove it. I would look at the last 90 days of checking and credit card statements and circle the payments that keep coming back. Not one-time emergencies, not the irregular repair. I'm talking about recurring charges, payments that come back every month like they have keys. Then I would ask a plain question. Would I sign up for this again today? Not years ago. Not back when the household looked different. Today. If the answer is yes, fine. Then, keep it on the list. Now, if the answer is no, maybe, or I forgot this existed, that charge deserves attention. Second, reprice it. Some leaks do not need to be canceled. They need to be challenged. Insurance can be shopped. Phone plans can be reviewed. Internet bills can be questioned. Subscriptions can be downgraded. Service plans can be compared to the actual risk they cover. Paying the old price forever does not win you anything. It just keeps money tied up in a bill that may not deserve it anymore. Third, reassign it. This is the part people miss. If a leak gets cut and the money just floats around in the checking account, it may leak out somewhere else. The money needs a new assignment, a repair fund, cash reserves, a debt payment, a savings goal, whatever fits the bigger picture, but it needs a job. Otherwise, the checking account will absorb it like a couch cushion absorbs loose change. Now here's the twist. The leak is not always the size of the bill. Sometimes the leak is how long the bill has gone unquestioned. The subscription keeps billing because canceling it is annoying. The insurance keeps climbing because reviewing it feels like homework with a deductible. The storage unit keeps charging because sorting old boxes is nobody's idea of a Saturday picnic. The service contract keeps renewing because the company made cancellation feel like a scavenger hunt. Some leaks are money problems. Some are review problems. And that is why this matters. A $500 monthly leak does not mean retirement is doomed. It means there may be one manageable place to regain control. Not the whole life, not the whole retirement plan, just one place. And that is often how progress starts after 50. One charge, one review, one redirection, then the next. The main distinction is simple. After 50, a recurring charge belongs in one of two buckets. The first bucket is something I would choose again. The second bucket is something that is still charging me because I stopped looking. If I would choose it again, that's cool. I would then keep my eyes open and make sure it still fits. But if it is only there because of habit, hassle, or auto pay, I would slow down and take another look, even a third or fourth look. Remember, autopilot is wonderful on an airplane. However, it is less wonderful in a retirement plan. The point is not to feel guilty. The point is to get clear. A monthly leak is not dangerous because it is dramatic. It is dangerous because it is quiet, recurring, and easy to mistake for normal life. And once it is visible, it becomes easier to deal with. If this helped you see your monthly charges a little more clearly, stick around and subscribe to this channel. We talk about retirement without hype, panic, or pretending a motivational quote can pay off a car loan. Your future self may not throw a parade, but future you will be glad you did the boring work now.